Welcome to a new Energy Capital interview. I'm Ana Tafoya, and today we'll be talking with Veeral Hardev, Vice President of Strategy with Ubiquitous Energy. Hi, Veeral. It's great to see you today. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much for taking the time to meet with me and to be here today. It's a pleasure.
Thank you very much, Veeral. Doing this interview with me is Aldo Santillan, Managing Director and Editor-in-Chief of the Energy Capital magazine. Hi, Aldo. How are you?
I'm good, Anna. Thank you very much. And we are very, very happy to have this chat today. I think we are going to have very interesting ideas for our audience today.
Perfect, Aldo. In this interview, Veeral will talk with us about transparent solar, a ubiquitous energy technology of invisible solar panels that can be deployed and deliver a significant amount of energy, of clean energy, without the need for additional space and infrastructure. So without further introduction, I'll start with our first question. Veeral, what are some of the trade-offs of deploying renewable energy technologies like, for instance, conventional solar panels and wind turbines regarding their use of land and aesthetics?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Thank you. When we think about these traditional renewable energy technologies, mostly, as you pointed out, the most widely adopted and deployed are both traditional solar and wind energy. And when you think about those, the two main trade-offs are almost kind of as you kind of asked the question. Really, we see them as both taking up land, and they don't look that great. And so, with the first, taking up land, both traditional solar, when you think about like solar farms and or wind, like wind farms, require a lot of land and real estate to be deployed, and they're usually out in rural areas, and so not really great for the urban built environment. Really hard to deploy and adopt in that setting. And then secondly, when we think about aesthetics, when you think about traditional solar panels, generally most people don't really like the way they looked. They're not really nice to look at or aesthetically pleasing. And so, that's part of the reason why you don't really see solar panels so widely deployed in these urban areas. And, they've mostly been relegated to, car parks and like the solar roofs and things like that. So, both of these technologies, we believe have these trade-offs that, really limit what we call design freedom for, the designers and the built environment, for them to, create these nice urban environments. And, we think this is going to be a challenge going forward, as you start to think about, smart cities and building more efficient overall communities.
Well, Veeral, in this regard, what is transparent solar and how can it deploy a significant amount of clean, renewable energy without the need of or without the need for any additional space and infrastructure?
Yeah, really good question, Aldo. Thank you. So transparent solar is a simple concept. It's solar you can't see. It's invisible. So, our idea is, what if you could take this type of technology and apply it to buildings? You wouldn't even really know that these solar panels are there. And again, addressing the one trade-off that I mentioned with the traditional technologies, you wouldn't have this trade-off. So for example, you could apply them as windows, and the windows look just like a traditional window. And so you're able to generate renewable energy while maintaining that kind of design freedom, again, for the architects and the designers to give something that, aesthetically is pleasing, and especially to help, buildings overall. And then the second thing is, again, back to the previous question, is with transparent solar, you don't need all this extra infrastructure. You don't need solar farms and things out in rural areas. You can apply this to existing facilities, existing buildings, existing structures. And so again, it's a way to integrate renewable energy into existing kind of structures and environments. And, we think about this in a way as, any surface that touches the sun or sees sunlight should be a surface that generates renewable energy. And we really believe with transparent solar technology, this is possible. And we believe it could be a significant kind of game-changing technology, especially when we think about, DERs, distributed energy resources.
So following with transparent solar, what are some of the applications of this technology, since we can turn the infrastructure all around us into invisible solar panels?
Yeah, no, great question. I kind of mentioned it already. I think, we really see the big market opportunity for transparent solar in what we call the architectural glass market. And specifically, we're talking about windows for buildings, windows for homes, windows for skyscrapers, essentially turning these vertical surfaces that we know as the sides of buildings, sides of homes, into vertical solar arrays that you can't see. And so when you think about this, we think this can have a pretty significant impact in terms of energy consumption of these structures. So probably, as you or the audience probably knows, buildings constitute about 40% of our energy consumption and an equivalent amount of greenhouse gas emissions. And so by making buildings more energy efficient and allowing them to have renewable energy on site and a larger absolute magnitude, we can really start to impact and reduce this energy consumption and overall greenhouse gas emissions globally. But that's kind of where we think the biggest market opportunity is. Like, as I mentioned, when you think about transparent solar, you can start to just think about all kinds of concepts. When you think about cars, electric vehicles, what if the whole thing could be covered in transparent solar? Again, doesn't change the look or aesthetic of the vehicle, which is obviously really important. But you're still able to get renewable energy, onto the vehicle. You can think about consumer electronic devices. Your favorite device, the phone. What if you could take your phone outside just for 20 minutes a day, get sunlight, and you would never have to plug that in? Wouldn't that be like, that'd be pretty cool, right? You never have to plug it in. And so, there are other applications like greenhouses. Greenhouses that could be covered in transparent solar that, could almost offset all of their energy consumption. They could power themselves. And so, there's probably a handful of other ones, but those are the main kind of applications, we think about.
Veeral, can you tell us about the process for coating surfaces with transparent solar, and what will be the limits for its application in terms of surfaces and infrastructure? You already said and told us about maybe our phones could be a good idea, the vehicles, the buildings, but can you go deeper on that ideas, please?
Oh yeah, no, great question, Aldo. This question really gets the heart to kind of strategically what we've decided to do at our company around transparent solar. Going back to renewable energy technologies that are most widely deployed, we really wanted to kind of create a way that this technology could be widely deployed. And to us, that meant it would have to be kind of fitting with the existing kind of manufacturing process and industry know-how. And what I mean by that is in how the technology would be manufactured or deposited. And so for us, transparent solar is really just a coating. So think of it just like a simple coating that can be deposited directly right onto glass, the way that glass and windows are made today. And so again, by design, we didn't want to create a new process, a new manufacturing method for the whole industry to have to adopt. We wanted to try to fit into what exists as much as possible by just offering, something a little bit novel. And so the transparent solar coating gets deposited directly onto glass during the glass and window coating manufacturing process. And we think it's a nice, straightforward, simple solution that can be integrated, again, into the existing industry. And then beyond that, we are doing some advanced research around depositing this coating onto other surfaces. So things like flexible films. And this is kind of where you start getting into, other applications like automotive and consumer electronics. But essentially, any surface that has glass, we can manufacture and coat that glass at the time of that glass manufacture with our technology. So in theory, any surface that has glass and sees sunlight should be able to take our technology or integrate our technology.
So Veeral, from your experience at Ubiquitous Energy, how is the company working towards the development and commercialization of transparent solar? As far as we know, transparent solar is still not available in the market, but do you have any challenges, or are you having any challenges for its commercialization?
Yeah, no, great question. At Ubiquitous Energy, we really think of transparent solar as, again, solar technology that you cannot see, that's going to be invisible. And so, when you look around the marketplace, yes, there isn't really a technology like this that exists. There are other technologies that are more kind of what we call see-through. So they have a little bit of ability to kind of see through the glass or the panel, but they're not completely transparent. So they're very dark or very colored. And to us, again, going back to one of the trade-offs it really impacts aesthetics. And so for us, we've proven the technology. We have installed windows that are working throughout the country here in the U.S., and we're expanding internationally. And for us, the challenge really is just getting this to the market. Getting this into a manufacturing setting and getting it available. And again, back to the main value we believe is really in this high transparency, and that's really what unlocks, we believe, the ability to apply the technology to all these different surface areas. The vertical surfaces of buildings, automotive glass, consumer electronics. You need really, really high transparency, because when you think about any of these applications, when you look at your window, you don't want to be looking out a window that's only a few percent transparent. When you're looking at your car window, there's safety, not only is there safety regulations, but you want to be able to get this clear view out and in, right? And then same for your phone, how and so that's kind of how we're approaching it in terms of getting our technology out to the market.
Veeral, maybe I'm going to be a little bit repetitive with this question, but how once this technology is commercialized, how transparent solar would help to increase efficiency and convenience of solar installations?
Oh, really good question, Aldo. No, I don't think this is repetitive at all. I think this is a really, really good point. We consider transparent solar just another renewable energy technology that can hopefully be widely deployed. It's not going to replace traditional solar, and that's not our goal either, right? Transparent solar, we believe, can work in a very complementary way to traditional solar installations. We always like to say, where you can install traditional solar, you definitely should do it, because it's probably going to be the most effective in terms of its efficacy. But in places where you can't really put traditional solar, like certain buildings, you can't put them on the roof because you have all the HVAC systems that take up all the real estate there. You can't really put it on the side of a building because the designer, it doesn't like the way it looks. And so we think that you can complement your traditional solar with transparent solar. So if you're going to have traditional solar, let's say out in the parking lot or on a carport, why not put transparent solar on the vertical surface of the building? Because again, it doesn't impact the aesthetic, and these systems can kind of work together. And so, we kind of look at this as just extending the way that solar technology is deployed in general. It's a slight difference in the way the technology works and how it looks. But we really think that's going to be the key to helping us, as a society, get more renewable energy technology deployed. I mean, ESG is really big right now. All the climate change stuff, the Joe Biden kind of new administration, new things that they're trying to do to increase energy efficiency. And so again, we think of this as just another tool that, people can use to deploy renewable energy. And, one thing I always like to tell people about, and I think this will really resonate with the audience, is that just the amount of solar energy that's available from the sun, it's staggering. And so I'll give you a statistic: 173,000 terawatts, which are trillion watts, of solar energy hits the surface of the Earth continuously. That's more than 10,000 times the amount of global energy consumption. So just imagine what kind of impact we could have the more solar technology is deployed.
So, Veeral, thanks so much for sharing this information. Very interesting information about transparent solar with us. I don't know, would you like to share some additional information related to what Ubiquitous Energy is doing in this sense?
Appreciate it. We're as you can tell, maybe from the talk, we're very excited about our technology, and we really are trying to get it out to the market as much as possible and as soon as possible. And so really encourage people to visit our website. We are doing a number of installation projects right now, again, as I mentioned, throughout the country, and we'll be doing more of that. And we're just really looking forward to work with the industry in general, building industry, window industry, traditional solar industry, because again, we think this is not something we're going to do alone. We have a very conscious partner and collaborative mindset, and so we just really look forward to working with the industry in general.